Got my oatmeal colored HGBT shirt on. Man, is it comfortable. Just rolled out the new line of shirts. I love these things. You know they're high quality when you don't have a white shirt. You have an oatmeal shirt. And it just makes the opaqueness of my skin being sheltered away. You know, it kind of makes it not so bad, not so noticeable. Welcome to How to Build a Tent, the podcast, and how to make you successful. Today, we had a lot of things happen. We had the blockage of $250 billion in small business loans by the Democrats. We'll talk about that. We had the Fed on live stream or Zoom getting interviewed. He had some very interesting things to say and a lot more, but that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're part of the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Go over to flfnetwork.com, put in HGBT in the memo field. You'll get a mug that says HGBT like this. You can see it in the background. You'll get a Fight Laugh Feast shirt. You'll get $100 off our conference, which you should buy tickets for right now while they're cheap. And you get tons of great content. And like now that the guys are like stuck in home, they're just going crazy, rolling out tons of great content. Most of all, you'll be supporting us as we proclaim the Lordship of Jesus in every area of life. And there is nothing more important than that. And I hope that with our decisions we're making, how we are acting, we all have that in mind, that we are proclaiming the Lordship of Jesus and should be doing that in our family, in our relationships, and our businesses, and so on and so forth. If you have any questions, you can email me, matt@howtobuildatent.com. Find me on all the social media sites, How to Build a Tent. You can also find this and a bunch of other HGBT stuff at How to Build a Tent, plus articles I'm posting throughout the day with little comments about what I think about them, just so you could stay informed about the things that can impact you, your finances, business, and economics, things like that. All right, so I just thought the Fed call was actually, or not call, it wasn't the, I don't think it was a Fed call, but the Fed, Chairman Powell had an interview, at least that's the part I caught, where he was being asked questions. And one of the things that was very interesting is that he talked about sphere sovereignty. Now, as us Christians understand it, and it's developed, well, hopefully you understand it. I didn't understand this or know about this or learn about this, however you want to say it, for a long time until very recently of being in conversations with the cross-politic guys, being part of the network and things like that. And it's been really developed over the years, which has been really helpful, really helpful. I really encourage you guys to really think through that. And that's not what I'm talking about, though. But there's other kinds of spheres and the different contexts. And one of them is in government. Believe it or not, we kind of have that between Congress and the executive branch and the judiciary. I mean, I say kind of because it's like there's overreach and jumble and all that stuff, but it's supposed to work that way, where they have certain spheres of responsibility or authority. But what he was talking about, Chairman Powell was talking about, was the need for Congress to act and the need for the government to have fiscal policies that help stimulate the economy, respective to, or in conjunction with, I should say. We should have fiscal policies. That is what Congress does, what the president signs, and what the president does through the executive branch, that works with, in conjunction with, the monetary policies that the Fed has been implementing. And that is so true. And that's interesting because we see the spheres of authority in the government broken down. So there's like the sphere of the government from a Christian perspective, the church, the family, the individual. But then also within that one sphere of a government, they recognize spheres inside of that. So it's kind of like a hierarchy that you drill down into more different spheres of government. And I just thought that was really cool. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting, that is even Chairman Powell, who I don't know if he's a Christian or not. I don't know anything about his political affiliation. I mean, his religious affiliations. But he even understood the boundaries of the sphere that he has oversight over. Whether you agree or not that he should have it or that sphere should even exist, that's a whole nother story. But in the days and the times that we live in, where government is overreaching into what is the responsibilities of the church, or the government is overreaching into what the responsibilities of are the family, the spheres within the government sphere, at least there are people like Chairman Powell who understand and respect the sphere that he has responsibility for and the spheres he doesn't. And oftentimes he gets asked questions. What do you think is good about this policy? What do you think about the fighting between the Democrats and the Republicans in Congress? What do you think about what the president's doing? What do you think about the fiscal policy that is being put out? And he always respectfully declines to mention it. He respects the authorities. He respects the people in authority by not commenting out of place. And that was the thing that was most interesting. I know that doesn't seem like the thing to draw out of what the chairman of the Federal Reserve is talking about, but I think it's important because we have many areas of the government and the churches even that are overstepping their boundaries and do not respect their authority and respect others' authorities that have been granted to them either by God or by the Constitution. And here we are with many people acting tyrannical by overstepping their boundaries. And then I'm not even just talking about the government. See, the church should not step over its boundaries into government or into the family life. There's things that God has appointed the family to be responsible for, that God has appointed things for the church to be responsible for, and so on. And those things should not overlap because things become inefficient, they don't work, they break down. We find these second and third causes from these overreaches, whichever sphere it jumps into the other one, where things just do not work. And no other great case in point than all of the entitlements the government has for people to take care of people when the primary responsibility for taking care of people is themselves, then their family, then the church, then lastly, the government. Somehow we have that in a completely different order. Government, people, family, and then church at the end or something like that. My DoorDash order is showing up, which, man, DoorDash, love it. Get some DoorDash to help support some local restaurants that are probably struggling, having their sales cut. Do that. That would be really, really great. Kingsman Grooming Products, I need to pull up an email for this. They have pre-shave oil. You can see it back there. Pre-shave, aftershave, beard balms, beard oil. Tons of great products for you. You already use them. Go support a Christian company. Use HTBT, how to build a 10, HTBT on checkout, and you'll get 10% off. You can also be supporting a Christian company and be getting great quality products. It's the threefold effect. Supporting a Christian company and their families, supporting this show, getting high quality products, and getting 10% off. So consider going to kingsmangroomingpros.com. I'm telling you, this stuff is phenomenal. My wife just commented, I'm not even lying. I don't make this up. I never make up any testimonials I have. Right before this recording, she's like, man, you smell sexy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. I still smell sexy after 9, almost 10 years of marriage. You got to love it. Because usually, guys, your smells just, you know what I'm talking about. Go over to kingsmangroomingpros.com and get your smell on. Put in HTBT to get 10% off. All right. This just absolutely infuriates me, and I don't know why it does. I don't know why I care anymore. The Democrats blocked $250 billion from being used to reload, basically, the small business loans. What's happening is the small business loans that are being taken for coronavirus through the stimulus package, the phase 3, has been so effective that within a week, they will run out of funds to lend. That was appointed, earmarked, however you want to say that for them. So what the president did and Congress, McConnell, asked Democrats to do is to support this unanimous reconciliation bill, however you call it, however they work in their procedures, to reload the accounts with $250 billion more for more small business loans. Now, if you should take them, if you shouldn't, if you should wait for the regulations to be written before you take them, that's a whole different story. But the point is that there are businesses that are desperate for these loans. Or if they're not desperate, they find a way to use it, or they see a need for it where that they can stay in business, where they can make moves, they can grow, anything. I don't care. but these individual businesses are needing it. And the Democrats said, nah, we're not going to do it. Why? Why did they not want that? Well, they want $250 billion of other spending besides this. It's not enough. See, this is the mentality of the government, Congress, Democrats, and Republicans, but mostly Democrats, and specifically in this case. You can't just pass a bill by itself. $250 billion small business loans, that's bipartisan. Everyone can get behind that. Everyone can get behind that. But what they see with a perfect bill that would be on its own like that is a wasted opportunity. What? Wait, the Democrats and the Republicans, Matt, you're saying they would both like this. This is an easy win. Both parties would like this. Why would that be a waste to just pass that on its own? Because there are tons and tons, or I should say billions and billions of other handouts, payoffs from lobbyists, from entitlement group, from, whatever groups are sponsoring, donors, all those things that are not popular, that would never pass on their own, that people wouldn't want to say they voted for. They can't be passed on their own. So you have to put it underneath a popular bill. So this is what it looks like. When you say, oh, we want to spend $250 billion to refund this loan program. And everyone's like, oh, that's great. I'll put my name on that. But what happens is, oh yeah, but you got to do this, and you got to add this. And in this case, you have to double the bill with all this other stuff we don't want. And what happens is later down the road, these politicians can say, oh yeah, I voted for the small business loan, 250. It wasn't perfect. There was a lot of spending stuff that was not necessary that I didn't really approve of. And it's a way for them to not be accountable, where they could say, hey, I just had to swallow my tongue. I had to bite my lip, or whatever Mitch McConnell said for phase 3, where there was a ton of junk in it. The same thing happened in phase 3, where they can say, I didn't, but it was just the greater good. Could you blame me? We needed to get these loans of people. Opposed to, if let's just say you wanted to spend $250 million on PBS, and that was an individual vote, well, we can go back and say, why are you funding this bankrupt, left-wing, no good program? If it can't make it on their own, why are they being sponsored by us, the government? And then they would have to defend that individual decision. But when you put that $250 million funding in PBS in the phase 3 deal, or in this $250 billion deal that we're talking about right now, then it's like, well, I don't need to defend that because I wasn't voting yes for that. I was voting yes for the $250 billion coronavirus small business loans. And everyone agreed with that was good. Everyone agreed that we wanted that. So you can't get mad at me for voting for that $250 million for PBS. Do you see why Congress will never pass a straight up good bill? Because there's too much bad crap that they want us to pay for, to get paid off for from themselves. And they can't waste this opportunity. Just like the Rules for Radicals says, you can never let a good crisis go to waste. You can never let a good bill go to waste. You can never let a good program go to waste. And so that is where we are. That is why the Democrats have the cojones. Sorry, my Latino's coming out. That is why they have the guts to just kill this bill, because they want so much more spending to pay off their donors, to pay off the special interest groups, to pay off the lobbyists, so they will get more money for the election that is coming. Which, by the way, I'm just making a bet here that Joe Biden is not going to be the nominee. I bet with Biden or Bernie Sanders holding on to his delegates for negotiation tactics, it goes through the convention whenever that happens, and they vote someone else in. I hope it's not Michelle Obama. I'm scared to death because I think she can win. I'm hoping it'd be like Hillary Clinton again, which, oh my gosh, I'm going to get whooped. So there you go. That's what we had today. I thought that was a pretty interesting day. The stock market up again. We talked about that before. If you are interested in getting to know more about stocks and want to start, check out my yesterday's show. That'd be great. If you like this show, please subscribe, share the show with a friend, tag a friend, and make sure that you're commenting on YouTube, on social media if you're listening from there. That really helps me, and you will be helping me grow this together. We can come alongside of each other and help grow this show, which I really appreciate. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless.